Correct. So, Satish, you clearly mentioned that, of course, you must choose your investors carefully. You should not just choose the money, but
Yep.
also choose the people behind the money. What their vision is. How do they think? Would they become your partners or would they become your foe? Now, the vision has to be aligned. If it's a B2B company or a B2C company, they're totally different game plan,
Right.
as I mentioned.
Right.
Now, one thing you mentioned now, the criteria of the investors in the beginning is who are the founders, what's the team
Hmm.
behind at the ideation stage, and once basically team is more important than the idea. Okay, and then gradually, uh, what's your revenue, how many customers you got, all of those also come into play.
Right.
For a deep tech companies, the question is, for deep tech companies, what are the different criterias for valuation in a B2B space?
Uh, I'll talk from my experience so far. So the valuation discussions mostly goes around in terms of definitely it focus in terms of what we are able to achieve so far. So compared to the theoretical part, which we're primarily using to convince the initial set of investors to now that we are in a different stage. So they really look at what's the execution history of this team in terms of what they've managed to achieve so far, and that is not just about developing the product, but it kind of shows how is the company thinking to take this to market. So all the things that I talked about in terms of building partnerships or building other collaborative models where we bring in other partners also to kind of say that, okay, we're bringing this along with others, so that, okay, it proves two things. One, it proves a point that there are not just us as a company who is worried about this issue. There are many more companies who are worried about the same challenges, and they all wants to get into a place where they can build or use things that are interoperable and using open standards and things like that. So one is like, okay, having a validation in terms like what's your go-to-market approach and what's the collaborative model, and how we're building that stuff. The second comes in terms of how are we handling the customer engagements or the customer conversations, or how do we actually what's the kind of tactics we use there. Like for many companies, like they all understand there is a challenge when it comes to data security, data integrity, data exchange, that they do understand those things, but it's also a chicken and egg issue, in a way that when you talk about a data exchange, to fulfill its potential, it needs to make sure that, okay, every company who is part of the ecosystem needs to be part of a network like this or a system like this, so that they can leverage, or maybe using an application that can actually do things, and those things will take time. So how do we handle that chicken and egg issue? I think that's another conversation that investors will dig deep into. And not to say that, look, the important thing there is, in most of the cases, we might be trying out things and be honest with investors or honest with partners, kind of saying that these are our current thought process based on our conversation with customers or with stakeholders, and we think this is something that is going to take us there. But those approaches might change in a ways like market reacts, or once you implement your first solution, you directly work with customers, you might understand more areas where, or different ways where you can take this solution forward. So always make sure that, again, we have an ability to adjust to the market demands, and the way we respond to the market demands. And so that's another thing that investors look into in terms of like how flexible the team is and to handle different set of challenges. So a common thing that I keep on getting as a question on the technology side is like, how much are we married to the technology components that we have now? Because the world around us is changing so fast, and you cannot kind of say that, like, look, we have a stack that can, as it is, can live for maybe another 10 years. Like things has to become, there are different pieces that might undergo changes, and which might also lead to choosing something different maybe 2 years down the line. So how flexible, how adaptable are us for such thought process and such kind of changes. So they also look for that kind of flexibility. Um, so and then in our experience so far, it is like it might take multiple conversations to build that confidence, because the initial set of conversations that happens is that is more focused on getting to know the team, getting to know their passion, getting to know what they're building, what opportunity they're seeing. But after that initial conversation, then there is always independent conversations or very focused conversations on different elements. And like the market focus itself could be multiple conversations that might come as a follow-up discussion. Technology could be another set of discussion that happens. So make sure that the team or the founders are really prepared to handle these conversations, and also be very sure or be in a mode that you are willing to accept feedback, because a lot of times I've been on the other side also in terms of like helping some of the investors to put their money in, but some of the things that we see in with a pitch or some of the discussions is some of the startups jump into pretty much in a defense position, like trying to defend what they already have, like not accepting the feedback. And that's not a good strategy, because you accept the feedback, whether you execute, you change, that's a different call. But when you discuss with a potential investor, the feedback is coming from their experience. They might or might not be very aware about the domain or the technologies that we're building. So their feedback is mostly coming from their experience, right? So accept it, and if you don't have an answer right away, take some time and then send them an actual response in terms of like what it is, right? So yeah, I think those are some of the things that we have gone through, and that helped us in terms of establishing the value right, in terms of like rather just only focused on a value based on numbers, because in most of the deep tech, most of the things are in projection, which is like 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line. So, and the customers you're getting in, they're not paying customers in a way that like how the eventual product will be sold. You might be getting some revenues in terms of pilots, POCs, but that is not something that you can base as a revenue to project. So that's where my earlier point comes into picture. When you get investors who also understand similar domains or similar platforms, like deep tech needs a different moment. I think that level of understanding is really, really needed, because otherwise it'll be pain. You might get the money, but it'll be pain to sustain that relationship going forward.
Absolutely. So Satish, thank you so much for bringing that point home. I think what Satish is emphasizing on the point that you must have investors who have same vision. They are aligned to your vision. Your projections also matter, not just your current revenue. The market in which you're operating is also very important. Your market size, your future growth, your year-on-year growth, your exponential growth, your hockey stick growth, or your linear growth. All these things also matter, and your flexibility also matters. Your ability to accept feedback matters. A lot of things are determined in order to have the right valuation for your company. So it's not just one number, there are multiple attributes which define your company's valuation. Thank you so much, Satish, for bringing that point home.